The human body is a noisy machine. When your heart is in trouble, it pounds in your chest or sends pain down your left arm. When your stomach is upset, it growls and cramps. When your joints are damaged, they creak and ache with every step. We are used to our organs communicating with us through the language of pain. But there is one organ that does not speak this language. It is the silent workhorse of your entire system. It is the largest solid organ in your body, weighing about 3 pounds, located just under your right rib cage. It is your liver. Your liver is the chemical factory of your body. It performs over 500 vital functions every single day. It cleans your blood of toxins. It produces bile to digest fat. It stores energy. It regulates your hormones. And it creates the proteins that stop you from bleeding to death. It works tirelessly 24 hours a day without you ever having to think about it. But the liver has a fatal flaw. It is stoic. It rarely complains. In fact, the liver has very few pain receptors. This means that you can lose up to 75% of your liver function. 3/4 of the organ can be filled with scar tissue or fat, and you might not feel a single twinge of pain in your abdomen. This is why liver disease is often called the silent killer. By the time a patient walks into a doctor's office with yellow eyes, jaundice, or severe pain, the damage is often irreversible. The window for prevention has closed. However, just because the liver doesn't scream doesn't mean it doesn't whisper. When the liver is struggling, whether from fatty liver disease, alcohol, medication toxicity, or viruses, it sends out subtle, strange signals to other parts of your body. It sends messages to your skin, your ankles, your brain, and even the palms of your hands. In this video, we are going to learn how to decode these 5 silent whispers. These are signs that most seniors brush off as just getting old or dry skin. But they are actually distress flares from a chemical factory that is on the verge of shutting down. Please stay with me until sign number 5. It is a visual sign that appears on your hands. You might look at it every day and think it is just a complexion issue, but it is actually a hallmark of hormonal imbalance caused by liver failure. Recognizing it could save your life. Let's begin. Sign number 1. Persistent itching without a rash, pruritus. We often associate itching with something visible. If you itch, you expect to see a bug bite, a rash, poison ivy, or dry, flaky skin. You put some cream on it, and it goes away. But the liver itch is different. Medical professionals call it pruritus, and it is a maddening, relentless sensation that often affects the palms of the hands and the soles of the feet, though it can spread over the whole body. Here is the mechanics of it. Your liver produces bile, a digestive fluid that helps break down fats. Normally, this bile flows from the liver, through the bile ducts, and into your intestines. But when the liver is damaged or inflamed, those tiny ducts can become blocked or sluggish. The bile has nowhere to go. It begins to back up into the bloodstream. When bile salts accumulate in your blood, they are deposited under your skin. These salts irritate the nerve endings, causing an itch that feels like it is coming from underneath the surface. Let's look at the story of David. David was a 68-year-old retired mechanic. He was a tough man who didn't let small things bother him. But one winter, he started scratching. It started on his arms, then moved to his back. He told his wife, "It's this dry winter air," or they must have changed the formula of the laundry detergent. He bought expensive moisturizing lotions. He changed his soap to an organic brand. He even took oatmeal baths. But the itch persisted. It was worse at night. David would lie in bed, unable to sleep, scratching until his skin was raw and bleeding. Yet, if you looked at his skin before he scratched it, there was no rash. It looked normal. David didn't know that his liver was struggling with early-stage cirrhosis. The fire he felt under his skin wasn't dryness. It was toxicity. His body was trying to tell him that his filtration system was clogged. If you have an itch that no amount of lotion can soothe, especially if it keeps you awake at night and affects your palms or soles, do not just visit a dermatologist. Ask your doctor for a liver function test. Sign number 2. Unexplained bruising and bleeding. As we age, our skin gets thinner. We lose the fatty layer of protection, so it is somewhat normal to bruise a little easier than we did in our 20s. But there is a line between thin skin and liver failure, and it is a line you need to recognize. Your liver is responsible for producing the proteins that help your blood clot. These are called clotting factors. Imagine them as the glue that seals a wound. When you bump your knee or cut your finger, The liver sends these factors to the site to plug the leak. But a damaged liver is a sluggish factory. It stops producing enough of this glue. Consider the experience of Margaret, a 72-year-old grandmother. Margaret was active. She loved gardening. But she started noticing that her legs looked like a war zone. She had massive, dark purple bruises on her shins and forearms. She would look at a bruise and think, I don't even remember bumping into anything. A simple touch from her grandchild, or leaning against the kitchen counter, would leave a mark that lasted for weeks. Then, she noticed her gums were bleeding every time she brushed her teeth. And when she got a small paper cut, it took 10 minutes to stop bleeding. Margaret joked, I'm just getting clumsy in my old age. She ignored it. But inside, her liver was crying out. Because it couldn't make clotting factors, her blood was too thin. She was essentially suffering from internal bleeding on a microscopic level. If you find mystery bruises on your torso or back, places you rarely bump, or if your gums bleed consistently, this is not a dental issue. This is a production failure in your liver. Mid-roll CTA, the pause. Before we move to sign number 3, which involves a swelling that many people mistake for belly fat, I want to pause for a moment. We treat our cars better than we treat our livers. We change the oil in our cars every few months because we know that if the engine gets dirty, the car dies. But we rarely stop to think about the filter inside our own bodies. The liver is the only organ in the human body that can regenerate itself. If you catch the damage early, at the fatty liver or fibrosis stage, you can reverse it. You can heal. But if you wait until it turns into cirrhosis, the scars are permanent. If you are finding this video helpful, and if you want to arm yourself with the knowledge to protect your health, please take a brief second to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell. By doing so, you are joining a community of seniors who refuse to let silence be their downfall. And if you are ready to prioritize your health, please comment, I love my liver down below. It sounds funny, but it is a powerful affirmation. Thank you. Now, let's look at why your shoes might not fit anymore. Sign number 3, swelling in the legs and abdomen, edema and ascites. This is one of the most visible signs, yet it is often rationalized away as weight gain or eating too much salt. The liver produces a protein called albumin. Think of albumin as a sponge inside your blood vessels. Its job is to hold on to the fluid in your blood, preventing it from leaking out into your tissues. It keeps the water where it belongs, in the veins. When the liver fails, albumin production drops. The sponge disappears. Gravity takes over. The fluid leaks out of your blood vessels and pools in the lowest parts of your body, your ankles and feet, or in the easiest cavity to fill, your abdomen. Let's talk about Robert, 75 years old. Robert was never a heavy man, but over 6 months, he developed a beer belly. He found it strange because he had lost his appetite and was actually eating less. His face looked gaunt and thin, his arms were skinny, but his stomach looked like he was 9 months pregnant. At the same time, he couldn't put his dress shoes on for church. His ankles were swollen, puffy, and tight. When he pressed his thumb into his ankle, the indentation stayed there for several seconds. This is called pitting edema. Robert bought bigger pants. He bought wider shoes. He told his friends, I guess my metabolism has stopped. But Robert didn't have fat. He had fluid. This condition is called ascites. It is a dangerous sign of liver failure. His liver was so scarred that blood couldn't flow through it properly, portal hypertension. And without albumin, the fluid was weeping into his belly. If you have a protruding belly that feels hard and fluid-filled, while the rest of your body is losing weight, do not go on a diet. Go to the emergency room. This is a mechanical failure of your circulation caused by the liver. Sign number 4, chronic fatigue and brain fog, hepatic encephalopathy. We live in a tired world. Everyone is tired. But liver fatigue is not just the need for a nap. It is a profound, debilitating exhaustion that feels like you are moving through wet cement. And it often comes with a scary companion, confusion. One of the liver's main jobs is to detoxify the blood. It removes ammonia, a toxic byproduct of digestion, and converts it into urea, which is then peed out. When the liver is sick, it cannot filter the ammonia. This toxin builds up in the blood and travels to the brain. Consider the story of Linda, 69 years old. Linda was sharp as a tack. She did crossword puzzles every morning. But slowly, her family noticed changes. Linda started losing her keys every day. She would walk into a room and forget why she was there. She became irritable and grumpy, which was unlike her. But the most noticeable thing was her sleep. She would sleep for 10 hours and wake up exhausted. During the day, she would drift off in her chair mid-conversation. Her children whispered about early-onset dementia or Alzheimer's. They were terrified. Linda herself felt like she was losing her mind. She felt foggy, like she was living in a dream state. But Linda didn't have dementia. She had hepatic encephalopathy. Her brain was being slowly poisoned by the ammonia that her liver failed to remove. The good news is that unlike Alzheimer's, this condition is often reversible. Once Linda's liver was treated and the toxins were flushed out, her sharp mind returned. If you feel a fatigue that sleep cannot fix, or if your family tells you that your personality is changing or you seem confused, ask for an ammonia blood test. It might not be your brain that is failing, it might be your filter. Sign number 5. Red palms and spider veins, the hormonal sign. This is the sign I promised to discuss. It is fascinating because it seems so unrelated to the liver, yet it is one of the most specific indicators. Look at the palms of your hands. Specifically, look at the fleshy part under your thumb, the thenar eminence, and the fleshy part under your pinky finger, the hypothenar eminence. Are they bright red? Do they look mottled or flushed, while the center of your palm remains pale? If you press on the red area, does it turn white and then quickly turn red again? This is called palmar erythema, or liver palms. Why does this happen? The liver has a job that most people don't know about. It regulates hormones. It breaks down excess estrogen in the body. When the liver is damaged, it cannot metabolize estrogen efficiently. Estrogen levels rise in the blood. Estrogen is a vasodilator. It causes blood vessels to widen and dilate. This excess estrogen causes the tiny capillaries in your palms to open up wide, rushing blood to the surface and turning your hands red. This same mechanism causes spider angiomas, tiny red spots with little legs radiating out like a spider web, which often appear on the chest, neck, and face of people with liver issues. Let's look at Frank, 70 years old. Frank noticed his hands were always red and warm. He thought it was high blood pressure. He also noticed tiny red spider webs on his chest when he shaved. He ignored them as old age spots. Frank was a moderate drinker, enjoying a few beers every night for 40 years. He didn't think he was an alcoholic, so he didn't think about his liver. But the red palms were his body's way of saying, I am drowning in estrogen because I cannot keep up with the work. If you have liver palms or spider veins on your upper body, your liver is struggling to balance your hormones. It is a visible sign of an internal crisis. Conclusion: the liver is a forgiving organ. It takes a beating from our diets, our medications, our alcohol consumption, and our environment, and it keeps working silently to keep us alive. But silence does not mean safety. The itching, the mystery bruises, the swollen ankles, the brain fog, and the red palms. These are not random symptoms. They are a cry for help. They are the distress signals of a factory that is overwhelmed. The beauty of the liver is its resilience. It is the only organ that can grow back. If you recognize these signs early, at the stage of inflammation or fibrosis, lifestyle changes can work miracles. Eating a clean diet, reducing alcohol, losing weight, and managing medication can allow the liver to repair itself. If you recognized yourself in the stories of David, Margaret, Robert, Linda, or Frank, please do not panic. Panic is paralyzed energy. Instead, take action. Go to your doctor. Ask for a comprehensive metabolic panel. Ask specifically about your ALT, AST, and albumin levels. These simple blood tests can reveal the truth that your liver is too polite to scream. Your body is your home. Listen to it when it whispers, so you don't have to deal with it when it collapses. Thank you for spending your time with us today. Your health is the most precious investment you can make. If you found this video valuable, please share it with a friend or a family member. You might just save a life. Stay vigilant, stay healthy, and I will see you in the next video.